original way. Like most people don't think to do that, to like kind of make fun of somebody for being like not sleeping with a woman. But it's actually a really creative way to do it. If somebody's saying something stupid, or if something that they're saying is making you feel stupid because you don't understand it or you don't want to take the time to understand it, then you could say, well, when was the last time you had sex with a girl, faggot? And that's a great way to just shut them up. So I love
Augustus,
that.
no, you're not. Otherwise, this situation would never have arisen.
Yeah, when somebody wants to, like, it's like hostessy or
when was the last time you
frantically ramble
hey,
random
you seem
things.
like a dumb faggot too.
You know, it's always fun, random and
Well, my friend Regal here accused me of my friend Regal here accused me of doing the same thing that I did a year ago, and I'm complete failure. But at least Barth Megatron, it has a successful room, and he doesn't need to record it because he's so successful. But my friend, I tried to demonstrate that Regal can't actually say anything intelligent. And my friend, this is why I claim that we have to just go back to books, because to spend my life talking to somebody like Regal who can't even say one intelligent sentence, it's like, what are you choosing to do with your time, John Kitover? Why are you choosing to spend your time talking to people like this, if not for some other reason? I can't understand it. Maybe I'm like making a film over here. Otherwise, there really would be no reason to talk to people like Regal. Anyways, I'm complete. Thanks, Regal.
Hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Because you sound like a faggot.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, my friend. Hello?
Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Please proceed, Doctor, my friend.
Okay, how am I promoting myself?
Was I talking to you?
Hello?
You're promoting myself.
Oh, you're mistaken. I was talking to this fucking cox.
No self-promotion allowed. That's what I learned from Reddit for trying to promote all my content. Like I read books and then I put them on YouTube and then I put it on Reddit and then people delete me from Reddit and they say, sorry, sir, no self-promotion allowed. And I'm like, no self-promotion? Isn't the whole point of like trying to create a video that I made to like get people to watch? Aren't I trying to promote that? But like, what is the self part that they're claiming that I'm promoting? I just read a book. Hello?
Are you streaming this on YouTube right now?
Yeah, you're live on my YouTube channel, Regal. Otherwise, there's no way I'd be wasting my time talking to you and repeating myself like a year ago. Hello?
You're on YouTube streaming this right now?
Yeah, let me put the link in the chat for you. Please hold.
Yeah, give me the link so I can see how many people are watching right now. Bro.
Yeah, how many people are calling you bald right now? How many people are saying? How many people are saying? How many people are saying bald, shiny baldy?
See, you know why I also like filming myself? So like all the people who want to make fun of me or something can actually watch themselves talk about nothing. And then they're just like, well, maybe he's right. Maybe I am stupid.
Or maybe people don't want to be involved in your social experiment.
Yeah, I know, but here you are talking to me live on my YouTube, not wanting to be a part of my social experiment. Hello?
Well, I guess I'm forced, you know?
Yeah, that's because you have no power. You don't have a green bean, and you don't have anything intelligent to say. But that's okay. Link is in the chat. Hello?
Oh, my. You couldn't be so much more right.
Generally,
I'm gonna do like a free whistle carving workshop on the beach on a Saturday in May, beginning of June. Should it be at 9 a.m. or 1 p.m.?
do the 1 p.m. See, Regal, I'm not like making fun of you. I'm calling you a fool, actually, not stupid. I have to be careful with my terms because there's a big difference between stupid people and fools. And the fact of the matter is, I know that you can probably read. and therefore you're actually not stupid. Oh, welcome, El Normo. And so the point is, I can confirm that everyone actually has the same intelligence if you can read. Now, comprehension, yes, that's challenging, but with enough time and enough reading of the same material, eventually you will understand what you're actually reading. And so my point is we should be using this app differently, and we should force ourselves, or at least schedule the way we use this app. Otherwise, it's so unprofessional, so chaotic and schizo. It's literally, in my opinion, just causing people to neglect other important things in their lives. Like, for example, I took out the garbage yesterday, but it took me a couple extra days to take out that garbage because I'm so busy filming here and recording people wasting their time. And as a result, I ended up having stinky garbage sitting on my floor for like a day that I should have taken out earlier. So we are being hypnotized all the time because all communication is hypnosis, and it's up to you to choose what you want to be hypnotized with. This is no different than using Netflix or using Instagram or using Facebook or using YouTube. It's a question of where is your focused concentration and attention, and what kind of content are you ingesting? I think studying God is great because I think God deals with intelligence. But the problem is there's too much debate. And the problem is on a conference call is the information transfer sucks. It's not a lot of gigabytes. But Megatron here, because he is a glorious, ultra Megatron, he put a link above. And if you gentlemen or ladies click it and briefly scan it, you will say to yourself, oh, fuck. This is a very smart book. A lot of shit I never even thought about or knew about. But here it is. And it's a hell of a lot more intelligent than all the stupid ESL opinions that you're going to hear on this app the longer you continue using it. Hello?
Sorry?
Hello?
Yeah, did someone say hello?
Yeah, that's like me roasting. That's me roasting people. And if people here think that wasn't a roast, well, then you aren't on the inside of my joke. You're still very far away from the truth.
I just came here.
Hey, Coptic.
Hey, Gray, how's it going, Gray?
Oh, not too bad. How are you?
Doing well, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
What's new with you?
Nothing much. Same old church, job, same old routine, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good.
What about you?
Same old. Kids, life, fireland.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened to the guy who was reading the intelligence stuff? Did you move him down, or did
Yeah, he
he
was
move
moved
himself down?
Hello? That's what he was
Why
doing.
did you-
I
why
fucking
did you
can't
move him
stand
down?
that shit. I fucking can't stand that.
But wait, why did you move him down though? Was there a reason?
I mean, you can go and open up a room with them and hang out with them if you want and be Beavis and Butthead.
Well, I would never do something like that. That sounds like a really bad waste of time.
It's a really good idea. I mean,
as long as he's here now.
I mean, it's like fucking fuck six meets cock smack.
I would never like open a room or spend time with that person in a room. Like I would never do that because that's a huge waste of time. But
What? Hello?
because he's here in this room, you might as well let him read. That's what I'm saying.
All right, let's move on from this. What do you guys want to discuss here?
I like him, by the way. He's grown on me.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about, really, to be honest with you.
But he said that whatever media you expose yourself to affects your mind. That's basically what he's saying.
Well, that's obviously retarded.
That's obviously like
That's like the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
It's not dumb. It is obvious. It's obvious. It's
obvious.
not the same thing.
yeah, bro. By the way,
It bears repetition.
So the whole '90s with the panic with video games or violent video games, like all the statistics and studies on that, on how children, teenagers, and adults consume, specifically video games, for an example, would actually demonstrate it to be quite the opposite.
yeah.
I mean, if you're just reaching over to like
Wait, you don't think
constantly
video
feeding
games?
yourself with videos or content that you actually want more available to you, isn't going to do much of anything.
I don't think you know what opposite means.
I mean, if you can come up with some sort of a study for that, I mean, I'd love to see it.
His point is that what you consume affects your mind. Do you disagree?
Yeah, if you don't have any self-control, sure. If you're an impulsive person with like a mental disorder, maybe.
It doesn't correlate with impulsivity.
How does that like rebut what I'm saying?
Impulsivity has to do with behavior. I'm talking about the effect of what you ingest on your mind.
Does it affect your behavior? So what are you talking about if not behavior?
That's a separate. We're not talking about behavior. We're talking about the mind.
Okay. So does the mind influence behavior?
Of course.
Then they
Okay, so why are we exclusively talking about one thing when they both entail each other?
The fact that one thing affects another doesn't mean that the first thing changes the third thing. That's a separate question.
Okay. Oh, okay.
What this?
This is retarded.
Yeah.
It's not retarded,
Yeah.
but it might be a little bit complex if you're not used to thinking.
Well, if you're used to like just making shit up, then
Great.
you can make shit up if you want.
Nobody's used to making shit up. He made a simple point. What you ingest affects your mind. It's sort of inarguable. Now, you might ask an intelligent question. What is that effect? That's a bigger conversation. And then you might ask another question, which is the third question. How does what you ingest affect your behavior? Now, the latter question is not very conclusive, as you suggested, from the whole video game panic. But it's inarguable that what you take in affects your mind. It's obvious. What books you read, what television you watch, what social media you ingest, what video games you play. They do have an
Great. So we
effect.
just simply agree then.
Of course. It's obvious.
Great, but Regal was making the point that
they make it sound like you're making some sort of exclusive separate point that like
right.
negates what it is that I'm saying, but it's not. I mean, it's like
You're not really making a point. I don't think you
No,
understand
Regal
how to
went
make a
beyond
point.
that point and said that just because he watches a serial killer documentary doesn't mean he's going to go out and be a serial killer.
But nobody
Yeah,
made
it
that
takes a
point. He
certain-
was reacting to a straw man that was besides the point.
No.
So you don't think environmental things affect the mind, right? Is it which way is it?
Yes, environmental things affect the mind. That's what he said.
Oh, okay. So where do we start here, the mind or the environment?
It's your choice.
Oh,
You can
okay.
start either way. You make a decision.
Yeah. See, do you see this shit? You can't make this shit up.
Well, no, you can't because you're not very creative.
Oh,
But again, if you want to know,
separate the two, and just you're acting like because you're dividing this into like more specific, nuanced topics, doesn't mean that we're not talking about the same thing as a whole. Is absolutely wrong.
I'm separating the questions because they're different.
Yeah,
questions.
obviously. So
now
but
it's
you're acting
obvious.
like as though they entail the whole conversation as a whole. That's like
They don't.
retarded.
They don't. They're separate questions.
So like,
What you
it's
ingest,
kind of like
yes.
obfuscating machine that likes to fuck his office.
It's not obfuscating it. It's clarifying it and breaking it down into manageable pieces. Now, it's possible that video games affect your behavior, but you'd have to prove that. Maybe it improves your aim. Maybe it makes you more creative. Maybe it makes you more
Yeah,
passive.
list more reasons why it could. Yeah.
Well, let's not
Good-
deal with all
good or
the
not.
possibles, right? Let's actually deal with reality. Let's not live in a world of like what's possible or necessary. Let's actually
Everybody deals with
how
reality.
you actually
Yeah, no
use
choice.
philosophy like this on an everyday basis. So on an everyday basis, people are concerned with things like this affecting behavior.
Okay.
And you know that.
You
but
are.
you don't but you're trying to separate this up as though it isn't.
You're saying
You're
you're
having
concerned
some
with
other
how
kind
it
of
affects
discussion.
behavior? You're saying you're
But
concerned
whatever.
with how it affects behavior?
Whatever.
What do you mean, whatever? I'm trying to see what you're saying. Do you know what you're saying?
You know what he's saying. Come on. You know what? He's been repeating it multiple times. So a normal, yeah. By the way, Gray, one day I would like to have a discussion with you on like atheism and like the existence of God and all
Yeah,
that. dude.
I
absolutely.
don't believe in atheism. I think it's a.
You don't believe it? What?
I don't believe in atheism.
You don't think
Dr.
it exists.
Cool.
No.
Yo, Matt. You and Beaver, like you put comments, you know, and politically correct, and then they call you out. They never do. They not bring you on stage, and
That's very different. But that's incredibly weird.
but I've been recording Trump derangement syndrome rooms, and it's going pretty good because Trump really lives in people's brains and closets in like the back of a house somewhere, and they can't stop talking about Trump because he's essentially responsible for the arrests of all these illegal aliens. And if you go to the Department of Homeland Security website, they've released all the mugshots of all the criminals they arrested. You know how many narcotic traffickers there are? So it's like extreme organized international criminal gang members operating in every major small town throughout the fucking country, and they're taking them down. And I'm sure it's only a small percentage of the total population. So this is a war. And, you know, I live in a bubble. You live in a bubble. But when you travel this country and you see these small towns, because it's not just even international criminals. There's the national criminals or the thugs that run the drug trade in some of these small towns. They are now competing against the international narcotic trafficking gangs. So it really is gang war, and it is over drugs. But it's also over other resources like public housing and food stamps and everything else that the government gives out. Like it is Hunger Games, but we've been invaded by illegal alien criminals who corner the market. But I suggest that we crush both aspects at the same time.
75%. That would be like
They should expand the operations of ICE and DHS to take down more than just illegal alien criminals. They should also bring out the military in every major sanctuary city and do like guerrilla warfare against these people, like do federal surges chaotically, unexpectedly, withdraw, and then come back in a greater force and just like keep surging randomly. And you know what's crazy is I saw the Arabella report of who's funding all of the No Kings protests and a lot of these other organized. How the fuck is Warren Buffett giving money to these organizations? Mr. Warren Buffett, like you think he's some type of Republican conservative? No. The fuck? Him and Soros are funding these fuckers. How the fuck can Trump not just I'm in Bible and Quran room.
That's fine.
I make fun of these people a lot.
Like, I am neither a naturalist or a theist.
Oh, sort of like a deist, maybe?
No, I'm not.
They kicked me off the stage.
I'm a lesbian.
So you suspend the judgment on the proposition that God exists, right?
Yes. How can I know for certain, right?
Well, you could still, by the way, you can still know.
Hey, everybody. I'm happy to be back. Thanks for bringing me back up. Don't mean to interrupt your fascinating disclosure. Thanks for bringing me back up. And I just want to say that, again, I do have some controversial opinions and theories, but I'm going to go on mute and listen. But thanks for having me back up.
You could have just muted and listened to them.
Yeah, why did you
tell
take,
us?
Yeah. Why did you have to?
Oh, I just wanted to confirm that I was with. No.
You know what it
Hello? She asked me a question. I just wanted to be polite. I believe in polite society. Hello?
This guy's been over your house 10 times in a row. He's going to announce himself every time to take a shit.
Was that a projection or a disclosure?
Take a shit.
Regal, have you always been a good house guest with like friends and family members? Or have you ever been like,
Dude, tell us when you gotta like take a leak. You're like, hey, I gotta fucking piss in your toilet. That's amazing.
well, one time we couldn't get into my buddy's house, so I peed on the side of his house, and he told his parents, and his parents chewed
Did
me
you say
out.
You want to come over, buddy, and cross the streams with me? Is that what you said?
Is that a projection? You know, a lot of gay men on this app project a lot.
I thought you were going to mute up.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's true. I'm going to listen now. Thanks for the reminder, Greg. By the way, beautiful PTR. You are a beautiful woman. I can tell. And you're very intelligent.
Thank you.
30 seconds before you unmute to say something else.
Excuse me, what was that, LSF? Mr. Green Bean? Oh, you're a big, powerful man with your big green bean? You're such a tough guy, Mr. LSF? Wow. What country are you from, sir? This isn't an ESL.
Right, so can you now go exist? No, nobody can.
Well, the idea behind it is like I think like a lot of people, when it comes to this, they're conflating between certainty and knowledge, right? So, like an example, like a lot of epistemologists give about this, like for epistemic fallibility, is like, let's say you're crossing a bridge, right? Well, it's logically possible that the bridge can fall, that can break down, right? And so you can't really be absolutely certain when you cross the bridge that it's not going to fall, but you can still know that it's not going to fall. It's highly implausible. Right?
No, you're conflating belief and knowledge.
Oh, no.
But you can't know God exists.
So knowledge is usually defined, before the get-here cases, I really like that definition though, because it's very easy and simple. Justified true belief. So it is a belief that's justified and it's true, right? And so if you have it... Sorry?
How can you say it's true?
Well, like that's one of the conditions, the truth condition for a belief, in order for it to be warranted and to be construed as being knowledge.
According to, for it to be knowledge, it has to be true.
That's correct.
It can be a justified belief, but it doesn't make it true.
Oh, yeah. So if you have like a justified belief, right? Let's say you have a justified belief, a belief that's justified, right? What's going to happen in that situation, right, is that what's going to happen in that situation is that if the belief turns out to be true, right, then it means that the belief that you had was actually knowledge, that you did actually know, right? And what epistemic
Hermes, welcome.
Yes, human beings can acquire knowledge.
Hermes, I've been listening to your disclosures, and I would not suggest you do an interview with Mr. PhD because, I don't like your political positions, but I don't think, I think you're still a cool guy. And, that's where I am, with like everybody on this earth. Like, if you're a cool muchacho, well, you know what? Like, you're a cool muchacho. But I would just say, don't make yourself the center of attention and just dedicate yourself to education, my friend.
I agree with you. I've been thinking about this as, I was talking to Pro and Miss Nancy, and they, it's not going to help. It's definitely not going to help in any kind of way. They're going to take anything I say and just, twist it and whatever. So, yeah, I'm going to have to tell Pro that it's not going to be a good idea. I'm not going to do it. But you're right. At first I thought, hey, I have nothing to hide, right? But I thought about it and I was like, I've done this already once. And it didn't matter. People actually made it worse. They tried to make it worse. So yeah, I do agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the time that I spend on here reading books is always my most valuable time using this app. It really is like an English as a second language training app. And like, I can prove it because you can listen to people live who are not native English speakers, having long form conversations, basically fleshing out definitions of words. So you got to understand why this conference call app exists. A lot of people are here because they're looking up how to speak English and other associated terms. And they're here doing it. But I can actually read a very complicated book to you in English that they would be incapable of reading at the same speed at which I can read it. So there's like an information transfer happening. And it's not a lot of gigabytes, but you can post a link of a PDF with hundreds of pages, and then we've increased the information transfer significantly. But now we've also expanded the amount of time required to analyze that information. So that's how this conference call app functions from like a language communication perspective paradigm. And I thank you for being here, because you listened to me read books, yesterday or the day before, and those were all Hermetic books, and we were reading about Hermes, and I'm sitting there looking at you, Hermes, and I'm like laughing because I'm like, isn't this crazy? I'm reading a book about Hermes Mercury, and there's like somebody in the audience named Hermes. I'm like, this is like, you can't, you could, I think it's just coincidence, but like, you can't possibly say that that's like possible that somebody would. I mean, Hermes is probably very popular, but the chances of all of that communication aligning with your name is, it's interesting, and not coincidental, I think. So that's the cool thing about communication, is it's not coincidental, or it is coincidental, and you see how these words are very important. The power to essentially control situations through words is remarkable, because you can insert any word into any situation, and the people listening to those words are forced to now entertain a completely different topic, which was never part of the original conversation. And so, the term is preconditions, and people essentially won't even have debates unless there's preconditions. And that's part of the problem, because preconditions don't mean anything when you insert all the negatives that were removed prior to the confirmed communication. So anyways, do you know what the best way, there's different magical tools, and these tools are still all part of communication. So the bell is really the best tool to have. It can create a punctuation or a dividing line, which is really just stop thinking, end your problems, or the more you think, the more you speak, the further from the truth you're going to get, because that line is that Hermetic connection, above and below, below and above. So that's what it is. What do you think, Dr. Hermes?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I definitely enjoy when you read, and you're talking about it being coincidence with my name and stuff. I don't necessarily believe in coincidences. I think there's definitely some kind of purpose there. And I think there's definitely a reason why we met, why we do and hang out with each other on this app. Yeah. So I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like our political differences, I can show you the Department of Homeland Security website now, and you can individually judge all the people they arrested and say guilty, not guilty yourself. So until you do that, you're on very tentative ground with regards to your immigration law enforcement opinions, because I've now seen the pictures of these muchachos, and they're not from America. They're here illegally. They're doing narcotics transactions. They're doing all types of illegal things, dangerous things, and they're dangerous predators. They're alpha males. They shouldn't be here. They're not part of our natural setting. They're here illegally, committing crimes, harming people, harming innocent people. So, I got to say, I can show you the link. They published it yesterday. The DHS now has a mugshot booking website. You can view everybody in every state. You can filter it. There's filters on it. You can specifically look and filter. It's amazing. So, that's why I say, like, to slander a law enforcement officer who's risking his life. Yes, he's going to make a salary and a pension, but he's still doing very dangerous work with men who are not, not pushovers, man. These are tough motherfuckers who could kill you. And if they're given the chance to kill you versus be free, they will probably choose to kill you. So how can you say these people aren't, courageous in doing these apprehensions? Because I could show you thousands and thousands of very dangerous people Very dangerous people, Hermes, you know?
Okay, now let me ask you a question, right? So when you do see that not every one of these individuals, and I'm just referring to like the videos that people capture and post, right, on social media. And when we see video after video after video of like, come on now, this guy or this woman is a criminal and a threat to our society, and you know they're not. I mean, because look, you can clearly see, you know, they might be a teacher, they might be a lawn care gardener, whatever it is that they do, right? Maybe they're a plumber or electrician or whatever. What do you think? I mean, do you think that every one of them was a criminal?
They have a prior case history. It's not like they're just giving them new charges. So they're all in databases. All this shit is in a database. And it's, you know, going through the Epstein files, holy shit, dude, you got to go to this website. I would actually spend time in my life to continue this research.
Let me share this with you. You do realize, and I don't know, you may or may not know this, what they're doing is, let's say you go to court, right? For anything at all. You beat the case. The case gets dismissed. The case, you're not convicted. You follow me? And then what they do, or immigration, because this is at the state level. So at the state level, you were not convicted. There in Chicago, as an example, right? And immigration comes behind these immigrants that got their case dismissed, and they tell them, well, we're still going to take it as a conviction, even though the state dismissed it. Isn't that illegal per our Constitution to do that?
Wait, what's the question again?
So here's the scenario. An immigrant, right, gets accused of whatever. He goes to court. He beats the case. The judge, the state judge, the criminal judge, dismisses the case. He's not convicted, right? So then immigration comes behind that and tells the immigrant, we don't...
Oh, yeah. You got to understand, federal law trumps the state laws. That's in the founders' framework. You can't get away from the federals. The feds will always win.
But listen to this. This is what's happened. Very specific, the procedure of how they're doing it. So they tell you, we understand the state dismissed this case, but we're going to take it as a conviction. Now, what they've done is, that's called double jeopardy. Number two.
No, they're bringing new Hermes. They're bringing new charges, though.
No, hear this out. What they say is, what they do is they don't give you due process. So it's not like they're going to retry you on what they just dismissed at the state level. And they don't, so they're not.
Listen, you got to look at it from the perspective of the person who is being charged by the law. They now have to dig into their pocket to resist that enforcement, even if it's automatic and summarily judged. It's the burden. This is the fucked up thing about the legal system, my friend. Without the shekels, without the dollars, there is no law. It takes lawyers to take your money, to go before a court, to get a court to sympathize with you, to give you a petition, of abstention, basically. So this is the real law. The dollar and the law are connected. And the thing is, Hermes, not many people have, less than 1% read the Constitution, and less than 0.1% has ever looked what's on your dollar and your 5 and your 10 and your 20 and your 50 and your 100. Those are legal instruments that declare that they can be used to pay public and private debt. But the thing is, the symbols on there are part of the Hermetic tradition. And that's what people aren't getting. That's it's right there in your pocket. The dollars have all the wisdom of the universe right there. Our founders knew the secrets. They were very smart. and they had a lot of time, and they had access to all the sacred books. They had it, dude. They were so rich, they had everything. And the British, because you got to look at it in terms of the outbreak of information and the publishing industry. Books were extremely popular, you know, especially in 1900 to 1930. But really also the spiritual. There was definitely a spiritual, new age spiritual movement in America in the 1920s. And I've got all of the evidence. The buildings.
So based on what you just said, sorry for interrupting. But
Go ahead.
Based on what you said, you're right. That's why I'm looking for a civil attorney. And I was thinking about reaching out to Benjamin Gunny. He's the guy that got $300 million for the George Floyd family for wrongful death. And so, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I have a United States passport, a United States birth certificate. I can prove that I was born in Houston, Texas, right? I'm a citizen of the U.S. And so the deportation, right, was completely BS based on, you know, just BS. And it was based on racism. You know, there were so many people, dude, that American citizens. A lot of them were naturalized, but there was many in my situation that were actually born and raised citizens. And this is not the first time this has happened. Remember Operation Whipback and the Mexican Repatriation Act? You know, that was in the 50s, and the other one was in the 30s. And they deported millions of Americans, Mexicans born in the U.S. So I hear you, brother. I hope that you use your voice to help innocent American citizens who have been caught up in this.
Well, you know, that's your voice. I mean, you know, I live stream myself, but I can also show you a lot of extremely dangerous individuals that I would call domestic terrorists who are illegal alien invaders dedicated to criminal conspiracy, as well as, you know, violent crime. And I can show you hundreds of innocent victims murdered by illegal alien terrorist invaders. And it's not controversial, in my opinion, to have that opinion, because you could talk to the parents of any of these young people that were murdered, and they would say, yeah, like, I want that murderer capitally punished. Murdered him. I want that murderer murdered, or I want that murderer killed. And that's unfortunately not happening. In Illinois, we spend $600 million a year housing people on death row. $600 million a year. The state is $200 billion in debt. The city of Chicago is $200 billion in debt. The debt is going to sink the ship, because it's like piling, you know, invisible paperweights up. But Zen is here, and Lanisha and Neda, Shaggy, welcome. We're also live on X Spaces. We've been live streaming Clown House Rooms as we usually do. I listened in to Hermes have a one-on-one with Pro, and welcome, Shaggy. And Hermes, you know, just told us a couple things. He said some things that he didn't give background to, made some assumptions that we knew about some situations that we didn't know about. But Shaggy, this is Jonathan Olson. Are you Irish, sir?
What the fuck? Do you remember my Do you really? Oh, you really remember my name? But please don't say it liar, okay?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello?
So welcome to Clown House Roasts, where we roast you. Are you prepared to join the barbecue?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Oh my god.
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Hi, thanks for calling 1-800-COMPLAINTS. How can we direct your call?
Wait, can you hear me?
Hello?
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 Hi, this is the Jewish Complaint Department. How can I direct your call? Hello?
Are you kidding me?
Hello? Hi, this is the Jewish Complaint Department. How can I direct your call? Hello? Hello?
What do you mean Jewish?
Hello?
What do you mean Jewish?
Hi, this is the Jewish Complaint Department. How can I direct your call? Welcome back to Clown House Roasts. This is a barbecue party. We're here to roast you. Can you pass me the coleslaw?
Are you trying to derp me here?
Derp me? Hello?
Yeah, you can't hear me. You can't hear me. You little rascal. You can't hear me.
Hello? Little rascal. Somebody called me a trickster the other day. They're like, yeah, just ignore him. He's a trickster. And then they went into all these ways that I'm a trickster. And I was like, man, this is intense. Like, this guy really, really, is calling me out. And he's not wrong. I think I'm very much like Loki or something, like the mask, like Jim Carrey, gives you, trickster power.
I do love trickstery too, but I wasn't prepared for it right now. I was like, I thought that you connected me to another phone, to a Jewish compartment or something. I don't know. Some people do that, like they connect with all people on another call. That they have another phone, they call a number, and they put the phone to the other phone. Right? Oh, come on. Kurva.
Okay, so, I play music. I play music too. I don't just talk, and I read books, but I play music. So I'm going to play you a little song. I'm going to dedicate it to my friend Hermes here. I'd like to dedicate this song to my friend Hermes. And, hope you get what you're looking for, which is always going to be satisfaction. Here we go.
So I would say it was alive the whole time. So it's not a question of if it's alive. It's where rights begin. Life begins at conception. Rights begin at birth. Until then, you're under the sovereign rule of the person carrying you to term.
Right. The will to live is imparted by the person carrying the child. Carrying the child. The will to live, the personhood, right, of that.
Carrying the child. So if I understand
Pre-viability.
as the
Pre-viability, the only will that thing has is imparted by the mother.
It has no free will of its own. It doesn't have autonomy. Yeah.
When does it have free will of its own?
Probably around age 8. So post-birth abortions all the way, my man.
There you go. That's a position we can sell.
I would argue that will to live, comes at the point where, if a baby is going to be pulled out of the womb and take a breath, it has a will to live. So otherwise, it just lay there and suffocate. Like it.
Yeah, I just think you guys are not willing to do the work. I think you're lazy.
The work to what?
You're not willing. You're not willing.
You do know that. Allowing, at a minimum, first trimester abortion, right, actually prevents more childhood deaths and abortions, and it prevents women from being, gravely injured and not being able to have children in the future. So, like, if you're all about more babies, then you would support the right to, like, at least early term abortion and medically necessary abortions.
I have, to that point, I had kids largely because my wife was able to have an abortion for a medical emergency. Without that being available, my 2 kids wouldn't exist. So I like my kids. So fuck you, Benjamin, for wanting to kill my kids.
Yeah, that's a pretty good. I see pivot right there.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
stop trying to kill my kids.
Yeah, if we're talking about potential life, you have to weigh all the potential life and the quality of that life.
Oh, the quality of life now. So people have a low quality of life. We should just take them into Soil and Green.
I think that once you're alive and on the earth, it's up to you to determine what your quality of life is.
Jesus Christ, leaving it up to the baby. Damn.
Poor Michaela's been toiling away in the audience. We haven't even said hello. You've been there forever. What's up, Michaela?
I'm just listening. I'm working, and I'm seeing how Benjamin is going to handle this.
Well, I'm just
I don't
laughing
wanna be
that
the
we're
only
back
one.
on abortion when I was literally like Benjamin is unwilling to talk about the Heritage Foundation
hold on. I want to make sure
to get women out of the workforce and stuck in abusive marriages and not have access to economic independence. That's what I'm talking about.
Let's make really clear and plain for Benjamin that you're on Team Michaela and she's just here to support you, Benjamin. So are you comforted by that? Well, Benjamin, do you need help on your team?
I know where Michaela stands. Michaela has a monster number of 1.
Okay.
As far as I can tell, she prays to a God who kills children based on their ethnicity.
So,
How's that different than your Epstein number?
I don't.
Benjamin's Epstein number is at least a 3. I think the same.
Epstein number was.
Yeah. Epstein number is like how many people in your circle, your professional, whatever, are implicated or degrees of freedom away from Epstein.
That's unfortunate for me because I actually have met and done business with Merritt Paulson, which links me to Henry Paulson, which links me to like pretty much
Careful with guilt by association. That's gonna spread.
So you start as baby killers, and then you're off to pedo land. See, Benjamin, that's how it is.
Benjamin, I did want to talk to your thing before we say hello to Marshall and everybody, but I think whenever you do this something for Trump thing that you love to do, where you're like, it's not that the people are dumb or whatever, and like, it's not that most people are dumb. Like, in theory, that sounds okay, right? But it just really depends what you mean by dumb, right?
These are all not considerations that was just being left out in the open that you didn't factor.
Wait.
Trump's president make us worse at all those things.
Yeah, if I did, right, or I didn't, it doesn't address anything that I did, unless you're assuming that Trump is the sole person who can rectify that kind of. Most of the words which you just said in that sentence, Trump could not complete in a coherent sentence. So that we're on the same terms here. I would hope you'd agree to that. And the likeliness that he could rectify any of those things that you said any more than anybody else is only based on the opinion that you believe that he's a USA flag-waving guy and only he's pro-steel and pro-manufacturing, right? So if that is the risk you want to do, you're right back at what I just said, which you basically ignored about everybody else in the country, and it positions you to be who I'm talking about. So I might as well speak directly to you. When an action has some kind of non-trivial probability of causing this irreversible institutional damage is what I'm talking about. The rational strategy is to minimize downside, not maximize hope or upside into a weird kind of prognosis that you sort of reduce the whole down to in a little soundbite that it distracts from the idea of what I'm saying. Do you understand that?
This is talking exactly. Let me ask you a question. If electors are set up to say, in the Congress, or segregation
as an alternative as a mind exercise. If Al Gore had said to himself, there's nothing in the Constitution that allows the Supreme Court of the United States to decide the next president of the United States. The Supreme Court of the United States doesn't have a role. It is the Congress that has the role in validating whom the electors are. If the Supreme Court wants to tell me that I can't count the votes in Florida, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my electors to get on an airplane, go to Washington, D.C., and ask the Congress
to decide whether my electors should be accepted or their electors be accepted. And maybe Congress can have a hearing, as Congress is authorized
How does that argument begin?
by the Constitution, to decide questions such as this. I would offer Al Gore would have been perfectly justified in saying, this is not a question for the Supreme Court of the United States. This is a question for Congress. Here's my electors. Go ask Congress.
Okay, so how does that begin? Hey, we have 4 people here claiming to be 2 people. How do you introduce that to the court, Benjamin?
They show up and they present a letter which says, in essence, the electors before you are fraudulent because
and then you show up and say you're a Spartacus.
Because the vote count did not conclude, if the votes were not counted in order, we asked the Congress this will apply to members that the same order as Senate fraud. Or the consequences of such that is fraud. We reject the fraud.
You can talk to
accept instead an alternate, which means to say no discussion would be electors. Bush v. Gore case.
Your president can't come out and say that the Supreme Court's not legitimate, bro. You can't come out and say all the branches of government are illegitimate unless I win. Then they're legitimate. It's a threat.
But you can criticize
party, but you can't put that in politics.
It puts down a red carpet for its own delegitimization, and Bush v. Gore is a red carpet for its own delegitimization. So Trump walked up that red carpet. Okay, blame Trump. I don't.
I blame Obama.
I would say the Supreme Court wrote their own delegitimization script.
I blame I blame Obama and Michelle for putting their own heads on the monkey pictures that he posted today, because it was their fault, Benjamin. Let's be contrarian about that, right? I blame Obama for the racism of Trump, right? Because that's essentially how ridiculous you want to be with your contrarianism, right? Just to make it more interesting and fun. Like when you choose willfully bad arguments just because you want to go against the grain.
Okay, well, you see, and it's like your voice changes.
Can we hear from Steve if he's willing to talk, or? Oh, look, dude's on stage. Dude, have you been listening?
Yeah. What I find weird here is that both Bush and Gore were part of Skull and Bones.
For real, dropping knowledge.
Oh shit! Hold on, I got Epstein right here on
All my conspiracy friends wanted to say back in the day, who cares? Who cares what secret society they're in? If they're drinking blood, like whatever, who cares?
Yeah, let's all be ignorant.
Listen, Epstein Island, but then there's also Sir Richard Branson Island. There's a lot of islands, okay?
Yeah, I just done the quick AI search instead of going through all the other stuff, but it says, the AI search says, yes, Congress has the right to challenge the electors. And at the point of challenge, the House goes into session, the Senate goes into session. If the two things can't be resolved, it's kicked to the courts. So electors sent by the states are not the sole province of the state. They can be
mechanism that solved this.
Well, that's not how the Constitution lays it out, and it was updated in 2022 for objections. The mechanism is if there's an objection to a slate of electors, the House goes into session, the Senate goes into session, the simple majority decides the objection. If it can't be resolved between the two bodies, the objection moves to the courts. So it isn't the sole province of the state to say who and what is going to be there. The state gets to send them. The Congress at that point, once they're sent, can make an objection to what the state done. At that point, it goes to the House and the Senate. They take a simple vote. If it can't be resolved, it goes to the court. So it's not just a
Congress. One senator learns about this, and they say, "Hey, Is this true? And then they go and ask the security people to verify, do basic due diligence before you have to bring in
the electors, bro. Like, what are we talking about? We're talking about people that impersonated the electors. We do know we're talking about the same thing, right?
Well, I was talking about before you brought up the issue of fake electors, the mechanism to challenge electors. That I wasn't getting into the fake electors. But here's the situation. If in the case, if there was objections raised in the Congress by the House and the Senate, and they could agree with the election that the objection was sustainable, what do you do with the electors that are there if they're deemed unqualified to be there by the Congress? At what point, what do you do with them?
Why is that an issue when they illegally people?
It's an issue because it's part of the mechanism of the Congress. That's why it's an issue.
The Congress has a security apparatus. Those are people who work at the NSA, CIA.
No, the Congress has a vote. It's not a security apparatus that decides this. They go into session.
Those people do their due diligence.
Benjamin, is this your best and brightest that you want to represent right here? Is it your best and brightest? Is it that's what we're playing with? Even let's swap an argument for Donald Trump, and we you know damn well what we're talking about. He sent a fake slate of electors and impersonated to be other human beings. And I'm telling you that is the first step in a constitutional crisis, having a president who's willing to do that. A second step is having an angry mob go to your own fucking capital, bro. That's what he did. And you're like, no problem, nothing to see here. Let me find an article that supports it, as opposed to the.
No, I wasn't saying find the article.
And so
I was saying,
you're
putting words in his mouth. You're putting words in his mouth.
No, that's a good point.
What I was saying, because what you guys were saying was basically this.
You're not interrupting.
Let me get the point out.
Nothing like that has ever happened.
Let me get my point out before you start talking.
They're not going to do that. Though, just FYI, heads up.
Yeah, I know. You've been getting your point. You're a dumbass. This is my point.
Go ahead, Steve. Come on, get it up.
Well, what besides base set of electors argument was what going on here, and what was reiterated to me on more than one occasion was the Congress didn't have shit to say about what the state's done. And what I just brought back to you is, yes, the Congress is the final check, and here's their mechanism. And it's not some security agency. A security agency doesn't get to go into the House. It doesn't get to go into the Senate and vote. And at the point, if the objection was raised about a particular state, and there was a disqualification of those electors, what do you do? That was my point. Not this other point you're trying to bring up.
What if your president sent 4 people to shoot them instead? Would you turn into this? Would you still be looking up and turning to page 15? Bro, he broke the law, right? The law, bro. You can't impersonate people. There's nowhere that you need to look in the Constitution to know that threatens the Constitution when it's the freaking executive branch. Your executive branch is when the electors understand what the problem is.
Impersonation was there.
Answer the question.
Let's say the person was there.
Just hang on for just a minute, Steve. Answer the question that Pro asked me. No, Steve is not the best example I would pick. What I don't like about
we just throw him under the bus.
He's not being honest about why he voted for Trump. He's doing this thing where he's defending Trump at the nibbling ankles, and he's not saying why not. If you talk to my in-laws, the people in my family, Trump, they'll be very honest why they voted for Trump. It says, look, we think that society ought to protect the weakest. We think babies are the weakest. And we see that issue is not a priority for the Democrats, and it's a priority for the Republicans. So we're going to vote for Republicans. That's pretty straightforward, and it's morally grounded. Steve is not making, in my opinion, a morally grounded argument. I don't know if that's because he doesn't have one or if he hasn't been honest. But he's just.
I got one. Oh,
yeah. In the face of declining populations, that's a good point, Benjamin.
Benjamin said it nicer. I was going to say the exact same thing as Benjamin, which is stunning. I was going to say, what do you really want Steve to win? Is it because you're racist? Is it because you think he's saving you taxes? Tell us why you're booty clapping for a guy who's trying to ruin the country, bro. Like, that's what I want to know. Once you attack certification,
I'll take it.
All right, he said he's ready to talk, bro. He's going to tell you.
Just the booty clap.
Well, I'll tell you if you let me say it. Number one, I think the country has to be energy independent. I voted for that. Number two, I think the manufacturing base as a national security issue needs to be addressed. I've thought this for 20 or 30 years. That was another issue with me. Number three, I thought we'd gotten crazy land with all this stuff where we had people dressing up and going into bathrooms and stuff. I thought that was a moral issue that was letting too much crazy land get into the greater society. That's the reason I voted for it. The idea that we are just going to print money, quantitative easing, that we're going to print money and we are not going to print.
Well, I missed what was the security issue? I heard you first and your third thing, but what security issue did you say? I missed it.
Well, the security, like I say, the security issue is the fact that our manufacturing base cannot take care of the necessary things we need to be a functioning economy. That's a huge issue for me that hasn't been addressed to
in a
globalized world 5 years ago, that was not
under 200 million, but now that we're like 350 million, there's not enough resources on the continent, right, to support manufacturing everything in the United States.
Well, no, but you be strategic. I mean, if you go,
you know why we don't make microchips here? Non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Among other things, a lot of diseases are resultant. Like, watch the documentary about Samsung in South Korea and look at the cancer rates there. That's why we got rid of these industries. That's the
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Yes,
when you start following the computer industry,
we don't do that anymore.
I started following the computer industry in 1980. When did you?
Carcinogenic.
I started following the computer industry in 1982. When did you?
Any sort of
see, and it's changed greatly since then, and you don't seem to have.
Well, no, I mean, I know the history. I know the history of why it was offshored. I know the actual history behind this. The history behind this was like Fairchild, Intel, Texas Instruments. These were the big fabrication lab in the United States. All right. Well, but it was simple.
You know, it's really hard to make microchips in a tropical climate, right?
No.
Yeah, lithography is difficult because parameter controls of the environment have to be precise. 50,000 droplets of tin fall down and you hit it with the laser and you vaporize it, and that creates ultraviolet light strong enough to reflect off of a bunch of shit and make little microchips for you. And you think that that's not going to have toxic elements in it? Like
sure it's going to have toxic elements, but toxicity had nothing to do with it. Intel, Fairchild, no, it didn't. They shipped it overseas. They shipped it overseas to save money, period.
We didn't want to poison our soil. We didn't want to poison our water.
Somebody put you in kindergarten gear. I don't know what happened. You're saying yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Nobody's called bullshit on your line of reasoning, Steve. So I want to talk about you pushing back on my argument and the hilariousness of what you've actually just done. I said it's a national security threat. It's a constitutional crisis, and you came back with bathroom security and convoluted. Our manufacturing base is what you think national crisis. You are exactly the kind of stupid listener who I am talking about, because you can't get out of your own way because of the trans people, and you have put that in your mind on equal footing, and you are actually defending a constitutional crisis of a president who is a traitor. because you have more transgenders, probably because of your strong Christian.
No, I said that as at the bottom of my list of concerns. At the bottom of my list of concerns.
That was the biggest bullshit LARP I've heard in weeks on this.
Well, whatever, dude.
When I tell you credible threats to our entire country's security system, and Benjamin's looking for one of you to step up, and you come with the fucking traditional bullshit white male national Christian. I stared at people in the bathroom, fucking moron shit. Back to the fucking cave you came from, Steve. You fucking
there we go.
Bullshit one.
I mean, you could just like take. Boom.
You can take it like that.
Say something.
Lying down on your fucking back, you bullshit fuck.
10 times in the fucking back.
I love that
Let me-
I got to see the angry professor. I think we're all very fortunate to see the angry professor. Thank you for your presence.
There's nothing worse than the "I'm the nice, reasonable Southern white guy" trope. Like, fuck that.
I feel like that's definitely a Russian spy.
So the guy Steve, I think he gave 3 reasons why he voted for Trump. The second one I thought was pretty important. He said he voted for Trump for national security reasons, and I mean that's problematic. There's a big problem with that, and it has to do with AI and semiconductors. Okay, you guys probably heard about this one, but this doesn't get talked about.
If someone like him says national security, he's just talking about brown people in this country. He doesn't want the brown people. It's just code for that. It really is. It's that simple. I'm not
Oh no, but we don't like the Chinese either.
That's also a part of this. The Chinese are also a part of the story I'm about to tell you right now. So, okay, here's the timeline of events, right? January 16th, 2025. A UAE-linked investment vehicle, I'm just reading here from the internet, called REM Investment One signed an agreement to buy 49% of World Liberty Financial, which is a cryptocurrency company that Trump's family owns. Okay, we've probably heard about this, and they spent, their investment was $500 million into this company that is owned by Trump's family. Okay, cryptocurrency company. Okay, this UAE company gave Trump personally, his family, $500 million. Okay, $500 million. And then that was January 16th. January 20th, Donald Trump was inaugurated as president.
Elliot, we can't just print money.
Right. Well, this is complex. Okay. This is complex. So January 16th, the investment, and then January 20th, Trump was inaugurated as president. Then on March 21st, a couple months later, same year, the UAE formally committed to a 10-year, $1.4 trillion investment framework in the United States, involving sectors such as AI infrastructure, energy, semiconductors, and manufacturing. Okay, after meeting President Trump and national security advisors.
Can I add a detail to that? Can I add a detail to that? The last time the UAE or the Emirates, like basically that part of the Arabian Peninsula, made a $1 trillion-something commitment, they delivered on like less than 10% of it over the period of time that they committed to spend.
Fantastic. That's figures. Okay, then on May 15th, same year, the president was in Abu Dhabi in the UAE, where he announced over $200 billion in new UAE commercial deals during a state visit. Okay, that was May 15th. Then the next day, Trump's tour, they finalized plans in the UAE to build like some AI campus and expanded access to advanced U.S. AI chips. Okay, as part of a partnership between the UAE and the United States. Right, that's the timeline. Okay, so the reason why this is a national security concern is because before this happened, like it was U.S. policy before this not to share things like advanced U.S. chips, AI programs, and giving the UAE access to like U.S. manufacturing and AI and chips and semiconductor stuff because China has significant access to UAE markets and their economy overall. They have significant access to this. Okay, so This is a national security concern.
So you're basically saying that Trump sold our technology, our confidential intellectual property in the United States for $500 million and a fucking white elephant Boeing jet.
Yeah, I forgot about the fucking jet.
Yeah, there's like a 10-year waiting period. Even if you wanted that jet, you have to wait 10 years. So that's why it's even more fucked up. It's like, it's so exclusive, can't even have it if you have the money.
Yeah, so here's a clean example of Trump and his family lining their own pockets at the expense of the national security of the United States. Okay, this is a clear example of that. So that's what I wanted to say about like the chips and national security interest. That goes to Steve's point. Like if he's concerned about national security, why the fuck are you voting for Donald?
He's gonna keep
not to mention all the shit he probably tells Putin.
In Mar-a-Lago, the documents will be safe there. You see, like he's increasing our security by keeping his documents on his resort. It makes a lot of sense.
In a basement, like in a fucking bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, I remember that.
Where 13-year-olds are employed at the spa.
I think the reason, like, why all of this happens, like, people really argue for Trump from a certain kind of, like, demographic or whatever. It's like Bernie Sanders was really gaining momentum. And there are a lot of people that supported Bernie Sanders that stopped supporting the Democrat Party after Hillary Clinton won. And Noam Chomsky's talked about this. Trump kind of picked up a lot of the rhetoric that Bernie Sanders.
What do you call the Democrat Party?
Oh, whatever. Democrat Party, whatever you. What are you gonna get all hot and bothered by?
You just told.
It paints your comments in a certain way, whether you meant it or not, right? So the name of the organization is
somebody actually So I've been doing it for fun ever since Ben got all hot and bothered when somebody else did it before, because it's hilarious.
Okay, do Ben trolling in Ben's room. Anyway, it's the Democratic National Party, and if you want to shorten it, Democratic Party is the more appropriate thing. So, yeah.
Thank you. Nevertheless, Noam Chomsky mentioned it about that time, as Trump was picking up the talking points and the rhetoric that Bernie Sanders set forth, that Trump is going to take that rhetoric and manipulate a bunch of poor, disenfranchised people into voting for him. And it seems like he did a very good job.
You need a coffee.
Like, it's just fascinating. Like, I just picking up on the point that, how many, like, someone was commenting about how many people support him, yet he doesn't really, and they use, foreign policy as their excuse. But it's just interesting how that relates to, the economic well-being of certain individuals, and how it seems like Donald Trump somehow manipulated a lot of poor, disenfranchised people into thinking that he was going to make their lives better. But all they've done is argue for him ever since, and not at all profited from anything he's done. But Trump coin made a lot of money.
I almost think it's like some sort of self-esteem version of a sunk cost fallacy, right? Like they put so much of their identity and their value of their self into supporting this guy, and now that it's obvious that he's been unsupportable from the beginning, they can't back away from it because they'd have to basically degrade their own self-image. It's like build a freaking new one. Be a fucking Buddhist.
He just came out and told you don't have to make up stuff. He was asked directly what it was, and he told you it's the trans thing, right? It's not that he's in some low economic state. He told you, I don't like them trans people. Neither does Trump.
Yeah,
right? They have something in common.
That's part of what
he can't publicly come out and say that in his everyday real life, but he can say it on Clubhouse, and people can pretend that is some kind of an intellectual, or he's some downtrodden person who's down on his luck and can't put two nickels together. It's because he's a hater. That's what it is. He has hate in his soul. And everybody's sitting around like, it's no problem. Just keep spewing that. And let's pretend we're actually arguing.
Yeah. He absolutely supports the Constitution. He absolutely supports the Constitution and civil rights unless it benefits people that aren't like him. That's really what it comes down to.
Like hate, do you think what comes first, fear or hatred?
Well, contempt. Neither of those. Contempt does. So, but can you imagine hating transgender people so much that you think voting for a pederast thief is the right option?
At what point?
Wait, when did he start with the pederast? That's a new one.
In a circular firing squad, because all of the options are options that we dislike.
How dare you?
Because I don't think there's any
How dare you support the trans?
Now we have excuses.
That is amazing. And he hates trans people. How can you support such a man? How dare you?
What did I say, Benjamin? When it comes down to the people I love and myself having existential threats placed over them, hanging over our heads, and I say this as I think Trump's a threat to women. Basically, I think the Heritage Foundation is a threat to women, and I don't think that can't we all just get along sort of argument holds any water. It's useless. It's pointless, and it's a waste of time.
The can't we get all along kind of thing works until someone tells you who they are. He told you who he was. He volunteered to play the game and go along with it. He told you, I am transphobic. He didn't write it down in a business card, but he did everything but that. He answered the question when directly asked after LARPing for 15 minutes, because I was thinking exactly the same thing as Benjamin. Just tell us why you're protecting this abhorrent person. Why do you need him to win? Whatever your bad idea is, it's Christianity, whatever it is, tell me why you need that to win. What's really the motivator? And he told you the motivator. He didn't really have a national security thing. That was just to get to point number 3. He didn't have 3 points. He needed to have 2 in front of it so he didn't sound absolutely terrible and non-Mr. Rogers-ish. Stop LARPing. Be critical thinkers yourself.
And was he punished after that? I missed it. Well, was he exiled or?
Are you into punishment? Is that what?
No. What happened to him? I didn't see. Did he get kicked off stage or what happened? Or did he leave?
He got moved to the audience.
Why? What happened?
Because I didn't like him.
I mean, he was being a d-bag.
Who got moved? Sorry,
I mean, that's only fair because he's willing to throw people out of bathrooms just because he doesn't like them.
Exactly. I'm willing to bet has never in his life seen a trans person, and he certainly has not seen one in his men's bathroom.
Yeah, the thing is, most of the people that
wouldn't know it. He'd be taking a shit, and he wouldn't know it because you're not running over to the stall next to you. Go, hey, is there a penis in there? You're not doing that.
Hey, most people that are worried about trans people are white people in small towns. Let me see your dick. Right. But no, most people are afraid of these trans people. Don't live I fucking work in WeHo, the gayest fucking city on the face of the earth. I barely interact with trans or even gay people. It's such a rare thing. It happens occasionally. And if you live in fucking dipshit Idaho or something, and you're worried about trans people, it's out of your mind. You don't what? It's like a phantom.
Not in any circles where you're in some kind of welcoming community where there's going to be trans people feeling comfortable to go in the bathroom while Steve is in there.
Is this a welcoming community?
Joe, why are you being a dickhead in the past?
Whoa! Joe's a dickhead.
Joe, you're a dickhead, Joe. Joe, you are a dickhead because you're too pussy to say what it is that's on your mind all the time. Why don't you just...
You guys are really... Wow.
In the chat. No, say what's on your mind. The stage is yours. Say it.
I said, is this a welcoming community?
Yes, Joe, it is bullshit thing.
Thank you, JC. Thank you, JCC. Thank you, JCC. Thank you. Thank you, JCC, for answering the question.
Thank you one more time, Joe. Can you
Yes,
say
I
thank
can.
you like a
Thank
dick
you.
one more time?
I can. Thank you, Romero.
Cool.
Joe, just
Yeah,
say
this is
what
a-
grievances. Say it.
Grievance?
Joe. Hey,
Do I have to have a grievance to participate?
It sounds like you do.
It's obvious.
I'm just curious.
To say it.
You never want to say anything in public, bro. Like, what's
Never want to say anything in public?
It says you're
just asking questions.
to have a one-on-one talk with you. Like,
No, I said I like small rooms too. It's nice to have one-on-ones though.
Cool. You like small bathrooms too?
I'm getting used to the app, man. I mean, it's like there's a lot of gaslighting, a lot of like bullying.
You're
It's not
a passive-aggressive dude. I'm sure everyone has ever met you told you you're passive-aggressive.
Whoa.
Actually, you're the one making insults and character assessments, and you did the same thing earlier. You don't seem to have the awareness.
Projection alert.
Awareness to figure that out.
Projection alert.
With that, I'm going to move myself to the audience. Thank you so much. We have some smart people here. Thank you so much to the audience. Here's theatrically falling on a sword trick. He did this in just about every
Passive-aggressive move to go to the crowd.
Yeah, we should be.
And dude, the most passive-aggressive guy I've ever met in my life.
Thank you, sir.
Others from another mother.
We should be intolerant of people. We should be intolerant of people who are intolerant of other people. Like, what I mean by that specifically is like, like, do you acknowledge that trans people exist? Do they even exist?
No.
If your answer
People
is
exist.
no,
But performative men that want to do performance shows in the bathrooms, those men don't exist.
Like, that goes back to like the identity.
Those are called lawbreakers. Hello?
But guys,
Hello?
if you're tolerant, guys,
Hello?
you have to accept the worst people in the world, right? I'm being sarcastic.
Make sure you don't come in the room when Colleen's here and I mod her. I'm sure that might make you too. You might catch a whiff of her pee-pee.
A pee-pee? You might get a whiff of a trans pee-pee and have the joy of a trans pee-pee. Oh, the joy of trans pee-pee.
We're keeping it PG-13.
Golden shower.
Hello?
Drip, drip, drip.
Hello?
He's talking about the plumbing, not the water supply, Romero.
I'm still fucking like aghast that guy voted for Trump over national security concerns. That's just fucking unbelievable. I mean, like all the trade with terrorists, the freaking strong arming. I mean, it's insane.
And energy independence, Trump is not responsible for energy independence. It's just ignorant. Just read a fucking book.
One report says that since Trump took office the second term, the federal government has lost over almost 100,000 jobs in the energy sector, simply in the energy sector. That should worry people who are concerned about energy independence.
Well, yeah, but the goal is to keep brown people off of healthcare.
I was gonna say, I haven't checked on it. It's like, are they still doing the hubs? Because if he fucking canceled all the grants on that, right there is a big problem.
I'll let Benjamin have a class moment. It is really just poor people in general disdain for, but specifically they just assume brown people are poor. So I'll lend you that one, Benjamin. I'll concede your point.
Oh, that's very cool of you. That's right. Right. Race is merely a proxy for what really matters, class. Look, I think listen to me saying I have nuances in here.
But like Tulsa, Oklahoma clearly proves you wrong. right? Because those people had meetings, had
I
money.
think, contrary to what Cora said earlier, you can care about women and also care about unborn children. I think you can care about people and also care about.
You can
stop trying to kill my kids.
About unborn. You can virtue signal about children too, Benjamin, use your word earlier, because clearly it's virtue signaling because you don't have some kind of bond with those people. You don't know who they are, and you're just imagining, and they're not even people yet, right? So while you're virtue signaling for the unborn people, you are correct. You can have general thoughts about the idea that you don't unborn potential people to be stolen of their potential and let women have their right to vote, right? What they want to do with their own body. You can still hold those two ideas too, can't you?
Yep. Just like you can hold the idea that you shouldn't be legislating things about that limit access to people based on immutable characteristics, right? And if there's a conflict between, say, women and trans women, that's about relationship building and interpersonal and integrated negotiation between the women and the trans women on a situational basis and on just like a more regional or local basis. And it shouldn't be like in ordinances and codified and all of that, because you know, that kind of shit changes over time, right? It's a social interaction thing. It's not a law.
I wouldn't agree with your second point. There are cases where gender matters, and it's very lazy of you.
Gender or sex, Benjamin? Gender or sex?
And that's, I think, where you're being lazy and not doing the work.
It's a blase, by the way.
Also, where is say that gender never matters? Like you put these words in people's mouths. It's weird.
But Benjamin, what situations are so important that Jen has a big role in? Like, I get in governments and schools and hospitals that sex would matter more so than gender.
Well, just take one law in North Carolina as an example. It's a misdemeanor to like threaten to assault somebody. I don't know what that means. But say you take a spatula and say, I'm gonna hit you with a
should be gender. And there are large women. So yeah, it's can't bring up one example of sort of ill-defined law as your when most other places don't do it that way and get along just fine. That's just dumb. But that's your point. Criticize the North Carolina law.
Well, there you go. But are you going to do this for everything? You're just going to find all the places where...
Yeah, we fix laws all the time, right? Like fixing laws. We're always we
fix all
take in
laws.
race-loaded laws and gender-loaded law. We do this all the time, and and we continue. That's a good project
in our society.
It protects people.
And I would have to look into it, but I've been in